We're at the Taipo stream, near Napier's Park Island, part of a 420,000 kilometres of waterways in New Zealand. Waterways in New Zealand range from small creeks right up to mighty rivers like the Waikato. They've been used for trade, they've been used for irrigation, and they form an important part of our culture. And they're home to over 40 types of freshwater fish and over 500 different types of invertebrates. But many of our most treasured waterways are falling victim to introduced fish, litter, irrigation and pollution. Some of the best perspectives to get when it comes to the rubbish in our rivers comes from those who've actually helped clean our rivers up. And Manahu Rural River has recently been cleaned by students from Havelock North Primary School. We'll be talking to some of those students who took part in the clean-up about the rubbish they've found, what they've learned, and the uses that they've discovered for the litter that they've collected. So, here we are in the library at Havelock North Primary, and we've got some very exciting guests on here in the library. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Summer. I'm Poppy. I'm Phoebe. I'm Tamara.
I'm Jake, by the way. So, when you cleaned up Nahuroa River, what did you find there, apart from lots of water?
Rubbish.
Rubbish.
We found lots of cans, and we also found a windshield across some of the bags.
A windshield? Really? There's been an interesting story behind how that one got lost. What were the main sorts of rubbish that you found down there?
We found lots of plastic bags, lots of illegal dumps, and we found lots of tins and stuff like that.
We found we found we found old tires. We also found a couple of dead birds. We found gumboots. We found everything. Yeah.
That is an awful lot. How long do you think this can actually last in the river?
Probably a couple of years.
Couple of years? Depends on your litter.
Yeah.
Sometimes some pieces of litter can last for 30, 40, some of the tyres would last for up to 80 years in the river. So it is a huge big problem. And I believe you guys have come up with some solutions. So you've got some interesting cards here that you've drawn. Let's tell a bit about what those are.
This is about the world, what you want to live in. That one's polluted, and that one's just right. And
Wonderful.
mine is about it just says stop polluting in the sea, because the sea and the rivers are all polluted a lot, because they're all on the beach and then they get washed up.
Yeah, we've got a lot of rivers in New Zealand. If you joined all the rivers end on end, you'll get 425,000 kilometres of a river. And almost all of those eventually will lead to the sea. So the rubbish that ends up in the rivers will end up going there, so definitely.
Mine's about to save New Zealand, don't pollute, because we are getting lots of rubbish on our beaches and it's killing our native animals.
Mine's about being a tidy Kiwi and don't pollute, and then if you do, it'll kill all the native wildlife.
Certainly, so many seabirds and river animals as well can die from litter. We've actually got a few of them here. You can have a look at it. We've got a freshwater crayfish, or kura. He has a very interesting life. He scuttles about on the riverbeds and searches for any dead food which gets washed downstream. We've even got in here a teeny weeny little eel. Have you guys seen eels before?
Yes.
Have you seen one this small before?
No.
No. When this eel was born, it would have had about 20 million siblings. That's how many eggs an eel can have. But very few get to be that size, and even fewer become adults. So imagine that, when you see an eel in the river, it's almost like the odds of winning lotto. Have been getting to this size to start with. Now, as well as your drawings you've done, I see you've also have some slides with you today as well.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be sharing with you, do some countries dump rubbish in the ocean?
Okay, well, what did you find about that?
The main reasons are that countries dump rubbish in the ocean are because the rubbish dump is too far away, they don't have a landfill, and they just get way too many scraps from factories and they don't know what to do with them.
Which countries do this? It's Vietnam, China and lots of other countries as well.
Like Thailand.
Thailand and
Indonesia.
and Philippines. This is dumped in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and other garbage patches all around the world.
And it's really bad because the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is quite near New Zealand.
And all of the rubbish that is dumped anywhere in the rivers can stay in there for as long years, and it can break down wherever. It can break down in fish. It can break down in anything that eats it.
And also mainly like plastic bags, they'll just over the years they'll turn into little microbeads that are smaller than a grain of sand, and fish will go to breathe, and some microbeads without them even noticing will go in their mouth, and it'll grow and grow in their tummies, and they'll die from so much plastic.
It is a huge problem, the garbage patch. 100 million tonnes of litter in there. And it's an area 5 times the size of New Zealand. And you're right, for many reasons, some countries do dump their rubbish in the sea. Sometimes, like you say, the countries are so small, they can't actually dig a landfill, would fill up with water. And sometimes they just don't have the money to dispose of the rubbish correctly. That's a huge, big issue. Imagine if you were in charge of that country, of a choice between dumping it in the sea or leaving it in the towns, and everyone who lives there ends up getting sick. So it's a huge issue, and to be honest, the solutions aren't obvious for it. But the first step to finding it, though, is to discover about it. So well done for doing all that research. Right, so we've got another team of river helpers with me now. Can I have you guys' names, please?
My name is Frankie.
My name's Hunter.
And my name's Steve.
My name's Arlo.
My name's Patrick.
My name's Lucy.
Well, welcome everybody. So you guys cleaned up the river. What was the river like? Was it a big river, small river? What was around it?
There was quite a lot of rubbish around it, and it was quite big.
Quite big? Was it flowing particularly quickly?
Not really.
Not really. How long ago did you clean the river up?
A few weeks ago, well maybe a few more than a few weeks.
Few weeks. It wasn't properly winter yet. Not that we've been having that much rain this winter. All that rubbish you saw, what are some ways that we can prevent it getting into the rivers to start with?
To recycle the rubbish.
Yeah, definitely. So a huge problem about litter in the rivers isn't just how much of it is going in the rivers, but what it does to the rivers and the animals once it gets there. And we've got some more guests to tell us a bit more about that. What are your guys' names?
My name's Joseph.
My name is George.
My name is Lucas.
My name is Hugo.
My name's Claudia.
My name is Louis.
My name's Sophia.
My name's Poppy.
Welcome in everyone. So you must have cleaned up a lot of rubbish down at the river, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys hadn't have turned up, what could have the litter have done to the river?
Killed lots of animals.
Yeah, unfortunately it can do that. What about to the river itself?
It can block up systems.
Yeah, it can block the river up.
And it can spread diseases
Definitely.
to this animal.
What about, did you see any food rubbish? Like someone dumped me food?
We saw pizzas.
Yeah, pizzas did you say?
Yeah, we saw a piece of pizza in the river.
I must admit, I wasn't expecting that.
And I found a piece of train track.
A piece of train track. Someone went off the rail somewhere then, didn't they?
I found
But-
an old rusty spray can.
Old rusty spray can, so an awful lot of rubbish. But going back to the food rubbish like the pizza, what do you think would happen if a pizza just got left in the river?
It would be really so wet and soggy.
Wet, soggy?
Maybe an animal could eat it and then they could go and spread disease.
Is that possible?
Die and get sick.
Oh, we've got lots of animals that live in the rivers. Everything from fish, like these giant bullyfish, crayfish, like this freshwater cobra, and we've got some other smaller fish up here. We've got some whitebait.
Ooh, whitebait. I did catch it.
I used to catch one.
And we've also got the eels right at the front here,
Little eels.
and some more smaller fish. What makes them all similar is they need oxygen in their water to breathe. You know how you need oxygen in the air? Well, if everyone dumps their food in the rivers, that can rot. And if it's in a still part of a river where there's not a lot of new water, that can starve all these animals of oxygen. So even if something rots away, it can be a huge problem in the rivers. So it's fantastic that you've actually gone and cleaned it all up, as at least that piece of litter won't be a problem. So one of the ways we can prevent rivers becoming all cluttered up with litter is by stopping the litter from going into the rivers to start with. And one of the best and funnest ways of doing that is by reusing the pieces of litter into something completely different. And I've got 3 young gentlemen here who have taken some household rubbish that would otherwise possibly end up in a river, and they've turned it into some really amazing toys. So we'll start off with you, and what's your name?
Ben.
Ben. It's a very interesting robot, Ben.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what sort of materials did you make it out of?
Butter. Butter, bottle tops, plastic toilet rolls, toilet rolls, in a big box.
Excellent.
With light bulb boxes is the thing.
Oh, wonderful. When you were cleaning up the river, did you notice any litter like that down at the river?
No.
No? Didn't
No.
see any like that? Well, what sort of litter did you find instead?
Bottle tops, bottles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, excellent. And that brings us to our next toy inventor. Your name would be?
Said.
And what is it? Looks like a very interesting contraption over there.
Yeah, just a random thing I made.
So pieces of plastic like this can take decades to break down. These little plastic bottles could take up to 20 years to break down. So it's much better part of your model than it would be drifting about in the river or the sea. So well done. And our last inventor over here, looks like you have got a...
Piggy bank on wheels.
Piggy bank on wheels. Hopefully not that much of a fast spender.
No.
And so, sorry, your name is?
Semi.
Sam A. So, and it looks like you've painted some flames at the top.
Yeah.
Excellent. And another bottle and some bottle caps. Obviously something you saw lots of down at the river.
Yes, we saw a lot of those.
And where do you think most of the litter, like the bottles or bottle caps, came from? Not sure.
No.
Well, lots of people here go picnicking down at the river, and
Yeah.
sometimes they leave their litter behind. Lots of
Accidentally.
bottles like this. Yeah, often it's accidentally.
But
I mean-
sometimes it's purposely.
Definitely. I mean, we've all been there, walking along a beach or river with a piece of litter, and it's just blown out of our hands. But unfortunately, lots of litter actually gets left there because people are too lazy to take it back with them, or they don't want to pay for dumping charges, and that can really ruin the rivers.
And I saw a lot of dead penguins on the beach before because of the
that's
litter.
no good.
No, not good.
No, were they the little penguins, I imagine, but the blue one and the white
Yeah,
belly?
like they're blue penguins like that big. They're all laying dead, like face planted.
Yeah, sadly, lots of these penguins, the litter means they either get tangled up or they can't find fish to eat.
No.
So it's very, very unfortunate. But
Yeah.
thanks to making models like this, not only do you help the rivers, you also get a really, really neat thing as well. So well done.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest culprits in terms of litter in the ocean would be plastic. We use literally millions of pieces of plastic each day, and millions of pieces of plastic go into the sea each day. And plastic bags are one of the biggest problems. The USA alone uses 1 trillion plastic bags each year. And when they get into the ocean, they can last for up to 20 to 30 years before breaking down. The good news is though, there is a big solution to this problem, and that is reusable bags. And joining me now, we have a group of Havelock North Primary School kids who have been making their own reusable bags in all the latest styles. I'll just let them introduce themselves.
My name is Neve.
My name is Summer.
My name is Ismay.
My name is Christine.
My name is Emma.
My name is Grace.
My name is Phoebe.
Fantastic. And if you just hold up your bags so everyone can see. And how long did it take you guys to make your bags?
About
15 minutes.
15 minutes? A few days?
Make one.
Like
2 days.
Yeah.
Like quite a lot.
They look like they're a decent size. They hold a bit more than the plastic ones. So the average New Zealander would use about 30,000 plastic bags in a lifetime. So by making reusable bags and using them, you're making a big difference. If everybody did what you're doing, we'd cut down a lot on the amount of plastic entering the sea. So well done. So litter that we often find in rivers would be food scraps. In fact, one of the other groups even mentioned they found a slice of pizza in the river when they were cleaning it up. The thing about food scraps though, there is a really sensible solution, and that is giving them to the animals that love to eat food scraps the most. Worms. Mustn't be an easy life being a worm, would you reckon?
No.
Worms move slowly through the dirt and eating all the pieces of food that's mixed up in there. And one of the best ways to help with worms is to put them to work at a worm farm. And I'll introduce our worm farmers over here. You guys' names would be?
Sally, Kate, Michaela,
Aiden.
Freud, Jack, Lucia.
Fantastic. And these are your worm farms. How many worms are in each farm, roughly?
We haven't put any worms in, but we think quite a lot.
Quite a lot. Yeah, the worms are used to living in really, really tight groups together. And what makes a good worm farm? What sort of, like, when you designed it, what makes these plastic containers such good worm farms?
That we're reusing and like recycling.
Definitely. Did any of you guys see plastic containers like this down in the river?
No.
Not really.
Basically just saw like plastic bottles and plastic bags. And stuff.
Yeah, so basically
What are those?
Oh, well, we've actually got some animals here that would be harmed by plastic, such as, here we go, and here we've got some whitebait. And the thing about these plastic containers here is they could do a lot of damage in rivers, so they are much better put to use as worm farms. And how long did it take you guys to make your worm farms?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days?
Yeah. 2 days.
Oh, yeah. Did a wonderful job, though. As I said, we have decorated it with these plastic bottle caps.
Yeah.
A few of the other groups said they saw some plastic bottle caps down at the rivers. Did you notice some as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly, lots of people have a drink down in the rivers and they leave their bottle caps behind. What about pieces of newspaper? Did you see any of those down by the river?
No.
No?
Not
I
much.
saw one.
Saw one?
Few.
Now, the thing about newspaper is if it blows down someone's letterbox, it could travel across Hawke's Bay and end up in the rivers. So it's much better to have them part of your worm farm here. So well done, guys. Now, of course, one of the best ways of ensuring that rubbish doesn't get into the lakes, rivers and seas is to come up with some great new uses for them. And looks like these guys certainly have. We have got a staggering array of upcycled and reused objects here. Lots of them, I note, are made out of plastic or pieces of plastic. So when you were looking at the rubbish, was lots of it plastic down at the river? Yeah. 8.5 million pieces of rubbish goes into the ocean every single day. That's about 6.5 million tonnes a year, and lots of it is made up of bits and bobs like the bottoms of cups and bottles, pieces of cardboard, aluminium cans. Often it's for little things, rather than huge bits of little like a sunken ship. That's a Titanic problem in itself. So we've been talking a lot about river pollution, but of course it's not just the rivers which are at risk from litter. Most of the rivers lead into our lakes and of course the ocean. And to talk to us a bit more about what happens when the pollution gets there, I'd introduce this group of litter cleaners. What are your names?
Cara, Caleb, Jamie, Harriet, Isla, Amelia, Marquise, Jacob, Hugo.
Fantastic. So, obviously you guys know rivers eventually flow out into the sea, but what happens to the litter once it leaves the river and goes out into the ocean?
It goes into the rivers. Fish eat it.
Fish can eat it, yeah, it can flow out the
They
rivers.
can die.
Sadly, plenty of them do.
Seagulls can eat it.
Definitely. Who's seen seagulls picking around at a landfill or by rubbish bins searching for some food? Yeah, seagulls, they don't know any better.
Yeah.
To them, it's like seagull junk food. And the landfill is a 24/7 supply of it. So, are you guys have been looking a bit on the seawall murals around Napier? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's lots of different things we see all sorts.
Excellent. Well, what was your favourite mural? What did it look like?
It was the one with the shark caught in all the junk.
Oh yes, sadly even those sharks are right at the top of the food web, they still can't do much against litter. Lots of people, they can't be bothered paying money to put something in a proper dump where it'll get looked after, or taking it to a recycling centre where it will get recycled, or repaired and reused. And they just throw it away out by the rivers. And although it's against the law, there are people who are employed by the councils around Hawke's Bay who try and catch people who are doing it. They can't be everywhere all the time. So the most important thing is if people don't litter in the first place, we have much less of a problem. And that's what you guys have done, which has been absolutely fantastic. Not just choosing not to litter, but actually going over and cleaning up the river, which has been a magnificent help for all the animals that live there. So well done.